So 9 years ago, Dawn, you were running, and you were running on the side of the road, and you were hit by a truck.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how that happened.
Okay. Well, first of all, I have to just say briefly that because how I got to running, if I may.
Yeah, please.
Because I didn't start running until I was 27. Mm-hmm. So running for me was a major release, I guess. I was a smoker. I had disordered eating.
So you were running and smoking at the same time?
No, actually, I was a 2.5 pack a day smoker. And I had unhealthy eating habits. And so one day the doctor said to me, you got to start doing something or you're going to have phlebitis, or I don't know however he said it, but so I decided I put the cigarettes down at 27 and I started running, and I picked out a block. And I just ran, walked, and then I tried to run a little bit longer than I walked, and then gradually, when I could run the whole thing, I would just increase it. And then I started running, and I couldn't believe how good it made me feel. Empowering, though, not just physically, it was empowering. And I would run around the block, and then I never ran a race, though. I would just be running. And then I had a neighbor who said, Dawn, why don't you try running a race? And I'm like, I'm not one of those kind of runners. I'm not of that caliber. But he talked me into it. I ran a race and I won. and
won as in first place?
I won overall, this big trophy.
Oh, okay.
And so that kind of motivated me.
Sure.
And then I just got into racing, and the whole camaraderie and the whole running, and it became my life. Okay, so now when I was running over the bridge, which I did every day, we have Gateway National Park, which is by Sandy Hook. And I'm running over the bridge to run by the ocean because I live a half mile away from it. And there was this truck exiting the park. Now they have their own single lane, and they're not supposed to stop, but there was a FedEx truck in front of him, and he decided to stop. And he waved me past. Because this was the old bridge. There's a new bridge there now. But so I crossed over, but while I'm crossing over, the car behind him is impatient. He doesn't want to wait. So he goes over the curb into the big safety zone where I was, and he's looking behind him and doesn't see me. And so I see him coming, and there's nothing I can do. I'm either jumping over the bridge into the water,
right,
or
which isn't really
right.
an option at the time, or you probably just couldn't even think fast enough.
No, I did put my hands out like I thought I could
stop him,
superhuman,
or at least give him notice, like, hey, I'm here.
But luckily he was going only like 25 miles an hour, so otherwise I would.
But he still threw you into the air.
My knees took the bumper, and somehow I got thrown over his truck 15 feet in the air, and I wound up in a fetal position on the bridge. And this is 3 in the afternoon. Again, I'm running against traffic, doing everything right, and there was.
And what most runners, I think, don't know, and I'm not a big runner. I run occasionally. I always assumed you run with the traffic the way you would cycle or.
No, cycle you have to run. You have to cycle with traffic. But I mean, I've taught Women's Safety 101, and you absolutely have to run against traffic.
Because you want to know.
Yes, you should
what you're against.
You should be on the shoulder so you can see what's coming. You can't trust the car behind you.
Right, especially now too with all the texting, and I get nervous about that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And at night you should wear clothing that reflects. I remember putting my hands out, and then the next thing I'm laying in a fetal position on the bridge.
Sure.
Traffic is backed up.
And the police and paramedics come over and they ask you.
Yes, I remember the only thing I remember is
you were obviously awake.
The emergency service, I guess one of them is standing over me asking me, what hospital do you want to go to? And I'm like, the closest? I mean, that was like bizarre.
That's a good answer.
Totally bizarre.
Good answer.
I consider the accident a gift. I really do. I call it the tragedy that is my gift because it changed who I am. And the reason why I say that is because before my accident, I was a very needy person, not a lot of gratitude, probably a little bit of a nag. And I was in a dysfunctional relationship, and things just weren't going right. And I have to tell you, I remember going outside and screaming on the top of my lungs, I've had it. Whatever it takes, I'm ready for change. Whatever it takes. And when I tell
you're pleading with the higher power.
I'm pleading with the higher power. I don't universe
has got to stop.
Absolutely change. I couldn't take it anymore. And when I tell you, and I mean this, 3 days later, I get hit by the car. And it was like, in retrospect, it took years to realize I asked for it. I actually asked for that. And here I am. Now my daughter had just gone to college. The person I was seeing abandoned me.
And the doctors told you.
And the doctors told me I'm going to walk with a severe limp, but I'm never going to run again. Now all my friends, my whole life is running. And here I am, and I live in a house with stairs. So here I am, stuck in my little house in a wheelchair looking out a little window. And life is going on. And it's April, and it's beautiful. And I live by the Jersey Shore, and I can't do anything. And wherever they put me is where I was for the day until the VNA, the nurse came in and took care of me. I really had to learn who I was. I mean, I really had to look at myself and learn who I was and what I was made of. And I realized, I mean, the courage, the determination. I mean, there were times, I went into the bathroom and I'd close the door and I'd scream because I was in that much pain.
Sure.
But
and the rehab
I wouldn't give up. I would not give up.
Right, and the rehab you were getting was not sufficient.
No, and then I had, because I couldn't go out, I couldn't drive, so they had rehab coming in, and being an athlete, they're sending in, Joe Blow doing 45 minutes every other day, and I'm telling them I need more. And so I developed a blood clot, and that just kind of sent me backwards. I had to go back into the hospital for the blood clot. Now this is just about the time my daughter is graduating. She's going through her whole ceremony. I'm not missing it. I'm a single parent. This is my pride and joy. So I told the doctor I'm going. So I had to learn how to give myself heparin shots, and they let me go. They took me in the wheelchair to my daughter's graduation, and the funny thing is she didn't know I was going. She didn't know I was going, and it was at a big college, and I was on the upstairs, and she was downstairs getting her diploma. And when they called out her name, I couldn't resist. I just yelled out, "Oh, my baby!" And she looked up and she just started crying because she didn't know I'd be there. So that was wonderful.
Yeah, you got me to cry.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful moment.
And then after that, things got better. For me, running was more spiritual. It was my meditation. It was my stress release. And it was a way, how the best way I can explain it, we always take in stimulation. And we take it from the outside in. But to take the passion and everything that you feel on the inside and put it out, that's what I would do with running, and I would be able to put it out through my body and really feel and share and feel the movement in your body. It just made me feel alive. It made me know that I was alive. Right. So running meant that much to me, and no one was going to take it from me.
And so when the doctors told you that you would not, ever run again,
I
didn't
didn't compute. It did not. I
allow it to sink in and process.
No, not at all. I knew I would. I just didn't know how. And I did not. I've never really shared this with anyone, and we may not even want to put this in. But it got to the point that running was so important to me that I actually considered that if I couldn't run, I actually considered getting
an amputation.
Yes, getting an amputation with the spring.
Right.
Yes, I really did consider that because I couldn't see life without running.
Would you say that you were rewired when you were hit by that truck?
Oh God, was I rewired? I'm a totally
prior
different
to that,
person.
asking for the sign for help to change.
Absolutely. I was totally rewired.
Hopefully, you know, when other people get to that point, we won't get hit by a truck, but,
well,
you know, maybe something a little bit less, a little more gentle.
But you know what else? But I was rewired better.
They're tragedies in our life, and I totally agree with that. You know, they happen. They're wake-up calls.
They are wake-up calls.
You know what? And they're, you know, the signs that say, hey, you know what? Something in your life's not working. Here's an opportunity for you to change.
They are wake-up calls.
You need to take this tragic event and turn it around and make it something more meaningful. And how you come out of it will, of course, inspire others, which is what you're doing here with us today, and you know, with our audience. Tell us why does the More race have a significant meaning for you?
It does, because you know, I have a program, You Certainly Can Run. It's focused on women, because I've dealt with my own issues, you know, abusive relationships, disordered eating, you know, limiting beliefs, and women, you know, this is a race where women come together, and running is empowering, and you don't have to be fast, and you don't have to win. You just have to do it, and showing someone that you can do anything. It's like you certainly can do anything. I just want to be part of the movement that, and you're dealing with women of all abilities, and you know, it's amazing. And that it's a women's only race is what I really like, because you're not competing with the general population. It's being limited to just women, and women are very unique.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't want to be segregated, but we are unique.
Yes, and More has created a great community.
Oh, absolutely.
Where women can come together, you know, and share their experiences and bond and be there and support one another.
Absolutely.
So where could we find you on social media? Are you on Facebook, Twitter?
I am on everything.
Okay.
I have a fan page on Facebook, Dawn Gerbish Ciccone, and I have You Certainly Can Run. .com, which is a program for women who, whether you know you've never run before, you run and you just want to, you know, whether you want to run a marathon or you want to run a 5K, it starts with one step. It does. It starts with one step.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. This is great. We're hoping to inspire as many people as we can and get the support that we need.
Absolutely.